I hereby call the April meeting of the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors to order. Please stand for the invocation by Mr. Wolfskill, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this time when we can gather together to tend to the business of our county, your business. Father, guide us as stewards of the many blessings you have bestowed on our county and on our county's people. Please grant us the wisdom to practice that stewardship in keeping with your commands. Father, please continue to bless our families, our county, and our nation as we move through these times. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen.
Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated. All right, next up is setting the agenda. And gentlemen, we have two things that I'd like to add to the agenda, or one addition, one change. First, over the weekend, we had the burn ban. So we have a resolution here to ratify that burn ban, and I would like to insert it under action items 8A. And then when you go to the closed session agenda, delete item 2, consultation of legal counsel retained with specific matters requiring legal advice related to the proposed water and sewer project. So if someone would like to second my amendment to the agenda, omitting the water discussion under closed session and adding the ban burn under 8A action items.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Reverend Jones is second my motion to make those changes. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All right, approved. Okay, the agenda, take a motion to accept the agenda as amended. Mr. Hips has moved that we accept the agenda as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Reverend Jones has seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, the agenda is set as amended. All right, first up, we have a very special presentation honoring Mr. Samuel E. Carter by Senator Seifers. Senator, you have the floor.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. It's quite an honor to be here to honor these two men that are truly two of the Appomattox County's finest sons. My name is Luther Seifers, and I'm the senator for the 10th District, which includes Appomattox County. I think I've met most of you, but maybe not everyone here, so nice to be here. So the first one that we're going to talk about tonight is Mr. Samuel Carter. I had the honor of meeting Mr. Carter on the way in, but even before that, I had the honor of talking to some folks about Mr. Carter and his impact on the community, and this is what we came up with. Samuel Carter, or Sammy as most know him, has been a steady beacon of light in Appomattox County his entire life. Born and raised right here, he is known and has been known by generations of families in this community. His warm, jovial spirit and genuine compassion have left a lasting impression on many. As one of the people told me, once you meet Sammy, you won't soon forget him. From his early days serving our nation in the United States Marine Corps through 20 years on the Appomattox Town Council, and then for the last 28 years on the Board of Supervisors, including many years as chair. Sammy has given more than 45 years of his life to public service. During this long tenure, Sammy helped guide Appomattox through many projects and many challenges. He played a key role in building a new courthouse, an animal shelter, bringing the community college center, creating parks and events to enrich the community, strengthening public safety, and improving schools so the children of this county could have better opportunities. In all of these things, Sammy put the well-being of the families and the future of Appomattox County first. He has helped to make this county not just a place on the map, but a wonderful place to live, work, and raise a family. And tonight it's my honor to read a resolution from the Virginia General Assembly that recognizes and commends Samuel E. Carter for his extraordinary lifetime of service to Appomattox County and our Commonwealth. And this is Senate Joint Resolution 205 commending Samuel L. Carter. Whereas Samuel E. Carter, an esteemed public servant and community leader, retired from the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors in 2025 after 28 years of dedicated service to the board. And whereas prior to joining the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors, Samuel Carter served the community for 20 years as a member of the Appomattox Town Council. And before that, he served the nation as a member of the United States Marine Corps. And whereas Samuel Carter was elected to serve as the courthouse district representative on the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors, and he attended his first meeting with the board on January 5th, 1998. And whereas over his 7 terms with the board, including 14 years as chair and 3 years as vice chair, Samuel Carter played an instrumental role in promoting the growth and development of Appomattox County through numerous initiatives, projects, and programs. And whereas Samuel Carter oversaw several major construction projects in Appomattox County, including the new courthouse and animal shelter, and promoted economic development through productive initiatives such as Central Virginia Community College's Appomattox Center. And whereas during Samuel Carter's tenure, Appomattox County improved recreational and tourism activities by creating new parks and community events, bolstered public safety by enhancing the E911 dispatch center, and nurtured educational opportunity by building the new Appomattox Elementary School and renovating other schools in the division. And whereas, as a member of the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors, Samuel Carter was actively involved in the hiring of county administrators, redistricting processes, the recodification of the county code, and other administrative endeavors essential to the locality's success. And whereas, with an unwavering commitment to the citizens he served, Samuel Carter has helped to make Appomattox County a wonderful place to live, work, and raise a family. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate, the House of Delegates concurring, that the General Assembly hereby commends Samuel E. Carter on the occasion of his retirement from the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors. And be it resolved further that the Clerk of the Senate prepare a copy of this resolution for presentation to Samuel E. Carter as an expression of the General Assembly's admiration for his distinguished service on behalf of the citizens of Appomattox County and the Commonwealth. So, Mr. Carter, if you would, I don't know how you guys usually do these, but.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Okay. All right, if Mr. Jamerson's family would like to join Senator Seifers.
Please, if you guys would like to come up. I've got a few words to read, but maybe you guys can do that. So I didn't have the privilege of meeting Mr. Jamerson in person, but I've very much enjoyed learning more about his remarkable life, especially the conversation that I had with his wife, Ellen. And there's a few things that really stood out to me. The first is that Bill loved his family, his community, his Hokies, and especially his Lord and Savior. And he showed that love not through attention-seeking or grandstanding, but through quiet, humble, and steadfast service. Because of his reserved nature, when Bill spoke, people listened. They knew his words were wise and thoughtful, and that they carried weight and purpose. But they also knew that Bill's words were always backed by integrity, a willingness to put in the hard work, and a genuine care and concern for others. Bill lived by a simple set of values: give a full day's work for a day's pay, put faith and family first, and always look for ways to make the lives of those in his corner of Virginia a little bit better. And in doing so, he built a legacy that will be remembered for many generations to come. To the people of Appomattox County, Bill was a pillar. He was someone who built more than buildings. Through his contributions, he also helped build stronger families, better schools, and a tighter-knit community. I was not surprised to learn that many in the community only discovered the full depth of his contributions after he was gone, because he never sought recognition. He simply sought to serve. To his family, Bill was the heart of the home. For 69 years, he was a devoted and loving husband to Ellen. He was a proud father to his sons, a cherished grandfather and great-grandfather who treasured every shared moment, every trip, and every memory made together. Faith guided him throughout his life. As a charter member of Grace Hill Baptist Church, he sought always to honor his Lord and Savior Jesus, not only in worship, but in the way he treated others and the way he lived. Today we honor a man whose legacy is not measured only in the games he officiated, the buildings he constructed, or the titles he held, but rather in the lives he touched, the communities he strengthened, and the examples he left behind. It is with deep respect and gratitude that I now read this resolution in memory of William Edward Jamerson Sr., a beloved husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, and a true pillar of the Appomattox community and beyond. The resolution is Senate Joint Resolutions 206, titled Celebrating the Life of William Edward Jamerson Sr. Whereas William Edward Jamerson Sr., an accomplished football referee and builder, esteemed public servant, loving husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather, and beloved member of the Appomattox County community, died on October 19, 2025. And whereas William Bill Jamerson graduated from Appomattox High School in 1952, then attended Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University, Virginia Tech, on an athletic scholarship where he was starting tackle on a football team that went undefeated in 1954 and was named to the All-Southern Conference Scholastic Team in 1955. And whereas after graduating from college, Bill Jamerson began his career as a referee officiating football, first at the high school level, then for National Collegiate Athletic Association Division II and Division III games, and ultimately with the Atlantic Coast Conference, which he served for 21 years, covering approximately 200 major college games, 11 bowl games, 2 Division III national championship games, and 1 junior college national championship game. Whereas alongside his father, J.E. Dutch Jamerson, Bill Jamerson founded the construction company J.E. Jamerson & Son Incorporated and worked as a building contractor for many years, leading the company to become one of the largest and most respected of its kind in the region. And whereas Bill Jamerson proudly served his constituents as a member of the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors and worked tirelessly to support the success and prosperity of the locality for the benefit of its citizens. And whereas Bill Jamerson gave generously of his time as a board member for many organizations and through his efforts founded the Grace Hills Early Learning Center in Appomattox County, which has nurtured the growth and development of countless children. And whereas in recognition of his service, Bill Jamerson was presented an honorary doctorate from the University of Lynchburg and the Alumni Distinguished Service Award from Virginia Tech in 1990. And whereas Bill Jamerson enjoyed collecting fine art and antique music boxes, traveling the globe, and above all else, making cherished memories with family and friends. And whereas Bill Jamerson was guided throughout his life by his faith and was a charter member of Grace Hills Baptist Church in Appomattox County. And whereas Bill Jamerson will be fondly remembered and dearly missed by his wife of 69 years, Ellen, his children, William Jr. and Philip, and their families, and numerous other family members and friends. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate, the House of Delegates concurring, that the General Assembly hereby note with great sadness the loss of William Edward Jamerson Sr., a pillar of the Appomattox County community whose legacy of integrity, dedication, and service will forever inspire all who knew him. And be it resolved further that the Clerk of the Senate prepare a copy of this resolution for presentation to the family of William Edward Jamerson Sr. as an expression of the General Assembly's respect for his memory. And we also, our office asked the clerk to fly a Virginia flag over the Capitol in your husband's honor. So here's the certificate that goes with that and the flag as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate this so much, and I appreciate the Board of Supervisors sponsoring this for us, and Susan for making these arrangements. And of all the accomplishments that we read today, I want to say that Bill did not do all these things without wonderful support from his family, from the community, from his co-workers. It was a team effort all around, and he was a leader, and at least I think he was a leader, and all these things could not have been accomplished without a lot of help, and his faith also.
Well, Ms. Jamerson, if I may now, I have a resolution here that I'm going to read, and afterwards, if the board adopts it, I'll be happy to present it to your family. It says, resolution in honor of William E. Bill Jamerson Sr., whereas William E. Jamerson was born on February 12, 1939, to James Dutch Jamerson and Lulu Smith Jamerson, and passed on Sunday, October 19, 2025, at the age of 91 while watching football with his wife Ellen. And whereas William E. Jamerson was a standout three-sport athlete at Appomattox High School, earning him introduction into the Appomattox Scholarship Sports Hall of Fame in 1999, then was a scholarship football player at Virginia Tech, whereas he was a starter on the undefeated 1954 team and a member of the 1955 All-Southern Conference Scholastic team. And whereas William E. Jamerson returned to Appomattox after college and began working at J.E. Jamerson & Sons, the building supply and home construction business started by his father in 1946. And whereas William E. Jamerson, beginning in the 1960s, provided the visionary leadership to grow J.E. Jamerson & Sons into one of Central Virginia's largest construction companies, the builder of such notable local structures as Appomattox County High School, J. Roberts Jamerson Memorial Library, and the Appomattox County Courthouse, along with many other buildings across Virginia. And whereas William E. Jamerson was successful in several other varied business ventures, including Drinker Jamerson Realty, King Supermarkets, Dinner Bell Meat Products, Lynchburg's Allied Arts Building, and Windhurst, a 400-acre mixed-use development that was arguably his finest professional achievement. And whereas J.E. Jamerson & Sons built the Jamerson Family YMCA, and whereas William E. Jamerson was also a respected football game official, progressing through the high school and collegiate ranks to enjoy a 21-year career with the Atlantic Coast Conference that saw him officiate over 200 major college football games, 11 bowl games, and 4 national championship games spread across the major college, Division II, and junior college level. And whereas William E. Jamerson was deeply committed to philanthropy and community service, giving generously of his time and resources, he served on numerous boards through the years and also led and contributed to many fundraisers for, among others, the J. Robert Jamerson Memorial Library, Appomattox High School Athletics Complex, Cortland Festival Park Foundation, and the American Civil War Museum, which he founded in collaboration with his friend, Civil War historian Bud Robertson. And whereas William E. Jamerson moved into public service when he was elected to the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors in November 1989, serving one 4-year term, the last 3 years serving as chairman. Known as a fiscally conservative overseer of the public money, he also would provide the vision and leadership to spur change when needed, such as when 2 members were added to the board during his term to increase citizen representation and broaden the range of knowledge, skills, and expertise among the board members. Now therefore be resolved that the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors does hereby officially recognize and mourn the passing of William E. Jamerson, a former member of and chairman of this board, for his lifetime service to the citizens of Appomattox County and for his willingness to share his time, energy, and financial resources to make this better community for all who live, work, and visit here. Take a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Reverend Jones has moved to adopt. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Simpson has seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, the motion is adopted by the County Board of Supervisors this 20th day of April, 2026. And I have ready and signed for you, Ms. Jamerson. Thank you, Senator Seifers, for being here. And
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure meeting you.
all right, next up is the citizen public comment period. This time is provided by the board to allow citizens the opportunity to address the board on issues of importance to the citizen. No individual citizen shall be permitted to address the board for more than 3 minutes. First up, we have Mr. John Zabel.
My name is John Zabel, and I live at 535 Wildway Road. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. You may remember me from previous meetings when I discussed the conditional use permit issued to the Rifleman's Resort. Tonight, I'd like to discuss the same subject. However, before I begin, I want to apologize to the board for not attending the meeting in March. My son was hospitalized for respiratory failure in the ICU for 24 days at UVA. I mention this because I have both a moral and legal obligation to provide for his health and safety. Morally, I'm his father and love him dearly. Legally, I'm his court-appointed guardian, having sworn an oath to the Commonwealth of Virginia to provide for his health and safety in all things. In effect, becoming an officer of the court. I take this very seriously. With that in mind, if Rifleman's Resort comes to fruition as a commercial entity, I believe it will place my family's health and safety in a state of clear and present danger. As such, I have a legal obligation which requires me to oppose this at both the local, state, and federal level. Having said that, during the 20 January Board of Supervisors meeting, I opposed the issuance of a conditional use permit, and during the 17 February meeting, I informed the board I had filed a formal code enforcement complaint with the County Administrator's Office. During that meeting, the board told me they would investigate my complaint and get back to me. As of 19 April, I had not heard back from the County Administrator's Office and emailed the office asking for an update. I was told that Mr. Bowman had been sent a notice of alleged violation and that he responded immediately by implementing erosion and sediment controls. I was also told that no environmental damage had been observed on the site. Questions were asked during the boss meeting, the 20 January boss meeting, of pre-existing or ongoing work at the site, and the board was informed by the applicant that none had been done. When a complaint was filed, an investigation revealed that unpermitted site construction was done and underway, contrary to what the applicant stated. The County Administrator's Office has told me that construction has halted and erosion control efforts put in place to eliminate or mitigate damage. In the military, we have a saying, trust but verify. The 570-acre resort is posted as a no trespassing area, so concerned citizens cannot verify in person. However, a review of the applicant's posts on social media has shown all posts, like the December 2025 video of construction work being done, have been deleted. This appears to be an attempt to hide or obscure evidence of violations. I would ask the board to consider implementing an inspection schedule of the Rifleman's Resort to ensure that no additional work happens and that past work has been mitigated until all the conditions of the CUP have been met. I would also ask that the board members consider visiting the site in person to see personally what the impact on the county could be. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Zabel. All right, next up is George Darara. Did I pronounce that right? Oh, thank you.
Hello, everybody, y'all beautiful people. I love everybody. I am speaking on behalf of people that can't speak, trees, birds, fish. I love AI. Ooh, got my phone. I am always on it because I love researching, you know, and I love the fact that they recognize everybody's hard work for what they did in the
Mr.
county.
Darara,
Yes?
could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. My name is George R. Durar, and I have a mailing box office, 1012 Appomattox Post Office, and I stay over on 3375 Wildway Road camping, helping my sister out with her farm for now. But I'm really, I want to tell you guys, AI is very important, but AI comes with a sacrifice. It's a really hard thing to keep this thing cool. But we have dead land. We have land right now up the road in the landfill. Underneath there's leachate, underneath there's composed trash. We can harvest that energy, bring it into the landfill, cleaning up the water if we use moss and algae. It's already been proven. We have a moss wall algae. We can cut the budget from the 3 big number by 30%. By putting this down there at the old landfill, we could benefit Calumet County, we can do Amherst and Appomattox. We have no zero on the pipeline, no electricity. If the grid goes down, our energy never stops. It's from the ground. Now, if we utilize the landfill and Griffin, we can take all that mess, clean up the air, and put the water back into the James River cleaner than we found it. This is really true. I've been up since December 24th of 25 researching as much as I can using AI. AI is not a devil, but it is mean to the Mother Earth. And we have to be careful. We already have landfill. We have these things. We're looking at the little picture. We need to go big. We got to say, what do we have that we can't use that we can refurbish? It's a shame we can't take plastic from the landfill, take it and bring it back into Griffin Pipe, turn it into building supplies like Jamerson. Now all of a sudden, people in the inner city that can't afford a 2-by, one piece of marine ply was $130. Plastic is almost free and we waste it. We got to use the resources we're wasting to bring it back into what we can reuse. And we're smart. We're good people, and Appomattox is a blessing. I moved here long ago, and I loved it. I watched it growing. We could use a movie theater. We can teach our children how to weld and bring opportunities with the money that comes back using the building over here. I'm running out of time. The old garment factory, and over here. We need to use the buildings that are standing that can be saved and bring our children here so they grow up and it's safe and their kids can grow up. And I'm not against AI. I don't think we're using our biggest decision on the best thing for our buck. I really hope you guys appreciate my time. Thank you so very much for listening to the birds and the trees. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All righty.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Miss Cynthia Roselle? State your name and address when you get to the podium, please.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Rotel, and thank you very much for letting me speak. My husband and I have lived in Appomattox County for 25 years at 672 Watts Mill Road. I'm representing the entire neighborhood of Watts Mill Road, and we would like to petition the Board of Supervisors to move our road, Watts Mill Road, up on the paving priority list of the 6-year plan. Our road is less than 3/4 of a mile long, and it's contiguous with Ridge Road, which is in Prince Edward. There are 8 homes in our small little road in Appomattox, one family being there for over 7 generations. The rumor in the neighborhood was that paving would happen within 3 years. We started hearing that rumor 25 years ago. Along with the normal inconveniences of a dirt road like mud and dust and what have you, the downpours in the past few years have made the paving more urgent. We've had 6-inch deep washouts extending across the entire road and deep potholes. Transiting these areas was treacherous. VDOT did their best to keep up with repairs, for which we are very grateful. However, it's time the road was paved. Paving could probably be more cost-effective in the long run. I learned last year that Watts Mill Road was never part of the 6-year plan, which really surprised me. Thanks to all the good help of Ken Wolskin, thank you very much, and Jeff Sayer at VDOT, Watts Mill Road was just added to the priority list last year, but it is at the bottom of the list. And it can take literally another 15, 20, 25 years to get that road paved. Please consider moving Watts Mill Road up on the priority list of the 6-year plan. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. All right, next up, Paige Kraft. State your name and address, please.
Paige Craft, 4739 Wildway Road. A quote from a board member from the January 20th meeting. The primary concern there again, we require fencing around pools for the fall risk of children and animals, but primarily you don't want your 3-year-old pulling open the screen door and falling into a pool, and I just see in my mind, in there is R1 and any sort of residential nearby, see a 6-year-old goes outside and wanders into a rifle range, and that's obviously a problem. So my minimum standard that I would like to see, can it stop a 5-year-old that can't read, hey, this is a gun range, from wandering there? That's a direct quote from the January 20th meeting. I put a Virginia code in front of all of you guys. It's my understanding, I'm not 100% certain, but it's my understanding that that is what the county attorney has said is okay for fencing around the Rifleman's Resort. Yeah? No? Oh, okay. You're the county attorney, and that's what Johnny told me. But anyway, that is not okay. On the applicant's CUP permit, under the detailed project description, section safety and environmental commitment, it states the range will be constructed according to NRA Range Source Book guidelines. That requires the entire perimeter of a rifle range, their safety fan, shortfall zone, and danger area be enclosed by secure fencing. Livestock fencing is not considered secure. It's a weak discouragement at best and does not prevent unauthorized human entry, which is the core purpose of perimeter fencing at a rifle range. The Board of Supervisors is supposed to be a deliberative body. Part of that responsibility is to direct county government through the power to adopt resolutions and ordinances. Approving substandard livestock fencing could expose the board and, more importantly, the county to lawsuits if someone is injured. I ask that you deliberate and address this issue. Thank you very much. I can't stay. I've got to get home. We've got a frost, and I've got to finish covering my crops. But I look forward to watching on YouTube and seeing what you guys decide. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Betty Martz. Did I mispronounce the name? Betty Martz? M-A-R-T-Z? All right. Guess Betty had to leave. How about Gail Payne? both have Prospect addresses, all right. All right, next up then, Suzanne Rank. How about Aaron Jenkins? All righty. No shows. Anyone like to speak that didn't sign up? All righty, then we'll move on to appearances. These scheduled times are provided by the board to allow citizens and organizations outside county government to discuss matters of importance with the board. First up, Ms. Sarah Henderson, Commissioner of Revenue, is appearing before the board to address questions on the tax relief for the elderly and/or handicapped. Welcome, Ms. Henderson.
Okay, thank you all for having me. Mr. Wolfskill came to my office a couple of weeks ago and asked me would I do some more research on the tax relief for the elderly and disabled. So he proposed, what you'll see on the screen, changing the income to $45,000, then maximum financial worth $175,000. He also suggested that we change the breakdown for the relief. So 0 to 35,000 income, 100% relief with a cap of $600. $35,001 to $40,000, 75% relief with a cap of $450, and $40,001 to $45,000, 50% relief with a cap of $300. Just a reminder, you all made the decision on 3/31/26, $35,000 maximum income and $150,000 maximum financial worth, with a $500 cap, with the same income breakdowns as you see on the screen. I won't read all of them. That is what we currently have as far as how the relief is figured. Before that decision, the income maximum for last year was $35,000 income, 100,000 financial worth with a $350 cap with these same breakdowns. So I did what Mr. Wolfskill asked me to do. I went through each application and I figured it with the requirements that he had asked me to do and the requirements under the plan that you all had voted on March 31st. So you'll see the totals there. So the totals under Wolfskill's plan is $40,848.61. The total under the plan that you all decided on March 31st was $26,554.51. So with Wolfskill's plan, you would have 87 applicants. With the plan that you decided on March 31st, you would have 80 applicants. The total discount for 2025 was $25,857.66 with 84 applicants. So you see the totals there. Wolfskill plan, $40,848.61 relief with 87 applicants. The decision on March 31st, $26,554.51 relief with 80 applicants. 7 applicants did not qualify under the decision that you all made on March 31st, but 2 of those were new applicants with income between $35,000 and $45,000. 7 applicants are not on here that did not qualify because of the new assessment value too high for either plan. So do you all have any questions?
Any questions from the board for Ms. Henderson? Mr. Wolfskill?
So I didn't use a calculator, but between the plan we did adopt on the 31st of March and my request, it looks like in today's dollars, it's like a $14,000 difference. Thank you for all the hard, I know that I guess you do a lot of hard work. There's pages of stuff here.
Yeah,
Really
they
appreciate it.
have the totals for every individual. The individual's name's not listed, of course, but they have the totals. They can see each column, which it was about 2 or 3 pages, so we did not put that up here. But the board does have the difference between the two amounts under each plan.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Hips?
just if I could direct a question to Mr. Wolfskill, what the, what your motivation was on why you wanted to capture that specific amount of people? Were those people that were excluded previously, or what?
My only motivation was so many people, if they're just living on total social security, 2 incomes, continues to put them over that bracket. And my motivation to change the brackets was actually less work for her. The old way was every $10 or something, and it was crazy. So we just put it together, but it's only going to cost, on today's dollars, $14,000 to go this way.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I was just curious,
What my motivation was.
what was it the dollar amount that you were concerned with for the relief, or what was the specific?
Well, it was the
Like,
dollar.
why stop at a certain amount? What was the?
Well,
measure?
some of it was looking at the paperwork that Mrs. Anderson gave us and what the other counties were doing, and that gave me some guideline. Some of them have a $50,000 break off. I actually thought it would impact more people than it did. It's only, 7 more people by today's dollars.
We did have a few that dropped off because of deceased, that kind of thing. But 7 applicants don't qualify under either plan. So that was strictly because of the assessments going up.
Right.
And then, Mr. Chairman, as a follow-up, for clarity, the 3 range is the new one? Is the one that Mr. Wolfskill?
Yes.
Yeah, I will tell you frankly, I thought the old scale was ridiculous. And I'm sure you did too, but I didn't.
A lot of
you know,
work.
I'm glad that those are very tiny brackets. I'm sure it's absurd to check the little table for each one, and no other county is that minutia, that far into minutia on it. So, I think that makes sense too. I appreciate it.
Is there any action at this time?
Can I make a motion that we adopt the new plan?
If you so desire, Mr. Wolfskill.
I would
yes,
like
you
to
may.
make that motion.
All right, Mr. Wolfskill's made the motion that we adopt the new standards for relief for seniors and handicap, raising the maximum to $45,000 income, $175,000 financial worth, with 3 relief breakdowns, 0 to $35,000, 100% relief or a cap of $600, $35,000, $1 to $40,000, 75% relief with a cap of $450, and $40,000, $1 to $45,000, 50% relief with a cap of $300. Is there a second to that motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll second.
Mr. Simpson has made a second. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Simpson.
Aye.
Reverend Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Wolfskill.
Aye.
Mr. Hips. I vote aye also. So you have a new scale for tax relief for the elderly and handicapped.
And I just would like to thank you all for the extra consideration, because the elderly are struggling, and this will help a little, at least for the people who were getting knocked, most of them getting knocked out.
And thank you for your hard work preparing this report.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just for the board's edification, I was planning on having a draft ordinance revision presented to you for a public hearing at your next meeting, but based on your change in that, I will be presenting it based on Mr. Wolfskill's plan as
All right. That's right. Thanks for reminding us of those little i's we have to dot.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Mr. Robert Brown, VDOT, Appomattox Residency Administrator, has requested appear before the board to present the Appomattox County Secondary Road 6-year plan for FY 2027 to 2032 in the draft rural district priority list.
I don't see Mr. Brown. So you may just want to set the public hearing for May and.
All righty, staff recommends that we set a public hearing for May on the 6-year plan, May 18th, 2026 at 6 PM. Is there a motion to do that?
So moved.
Reverend Jones has moved to set the public hearing for the VDOT 6-year plan on Monday, May 18th. Is there a second? Mr. Hips has seconded. Discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right, public hearings will be on May 18th at 6 PM for the VDOT 6-year plan. Next up, Mr. Ed McMahon, AG teacher, Appomattox County Public Schools, requested to appear before the board to discuss resubmission of the AFID grant.
Good evening, board members. Ed McCann. I'm one of the agriculture teachers at Appomattox County High School. I wear a lot of different hats throughout the day, teacher, mentor, advisor, and tonight I'm here on behalf of the Appomattox FFA Alumni Association to talk to you about a project that we first brought before you back in the fall. So just a little bit about the FFA alumni. This group has been around since the early 80s. And the central aspect of this group is that they work together through gifts of time, talent, and resources to support agricultural education, not just in the schools, but in our community. And our organization has 288 members currently, and we serve not just the students at the school, but through our resources at the FFA Alumni Land Laboratory, much of our community as well. So a little bit about that land laboratory, just in case you're not familiar with it, I'll go through this fairly quickly, but our organization owns land that's adjacent to Appomattox County High School. It's depicted in orange below. It's almost 30 acres. And this is I love the word laboratory because it's a place where students can apply real world skills and equip them with things that they need to be successful once they leave the public education system. It's a great tool to provide real world experience. Currently, they manage a herd of beef cattle, market hogs and breeding hogs, sheep and goats. And we're very proud as an organization to provide this resource completely free to students that use this facility. And so I'm here tonight to propose a project that our organization is working on, the Appomattox FFA Alumni Ag Complex. And we would like to partner with you, the county, to expand what we're able to offer, so that because we feel like we've got the location when it comes to real estate, location. We have a prime place that we feel like we can serve not only just students, but the citizens of our county with this facility. We would like to capitalize on grant opportunities so that we can finish our fundraising efforts and put a building up, a multi-purpose building on the project. So a few things about what we've done already is we do own the land. So the land is owned. It's been owned for a number of years by the FFA alumni. We do have a large group of individuals using this facility. To give you an idea, 20% of students in the school division are FFA members that have access to use this facility every day. The property is developed. There's a cell phone tower on the property. And then we feel because of the rural nature of our beautiful county, there's a large number of constituents here that would benefit from having access to a facility that would provide accessible agricultural programming. So our board, through many years of feedback, came together with a plan that would both meet the needs of the students that we're currently serving, but students that are yet to come. We involved community members in this process, and we designed a space with an architect that was flexible, but yet would accommodate many different events and would still allow for safety and supervision, knowing that youth would be using this facility every day. And so just to highlight what this project is, it is a 96 by 132-foot pole barn, essentially. It had many different rooms and aspects, everything from an office to facilitate management to bathrooms, a kitchenette, storage room, and then it is definitely geared towards being a hands-on space so that we can train and equip individuals with what they need to be successful entrepreneurs in the ag industry. And so pens for livestock, because the livestock industry is so big in Appomattox County, as well as areas where we can have meeting spaces and trainings that would be essentially multi-purpose. So timeline-wise, we're hoping and we're excited and expecting, I guess, to be able to start construction very soon. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here tonight. We're hoping that by the end of this year, we're able to begin construction very quickly. And we're primed and ready to do that, and with the goal of by 2028 having a grand opening. And so this is to update you from the last time I was here. So many people do not know about this because it's kind of tucked in back behind the high school. As you know, the high school is landlocked. And so the trees that you see from the football field and the practice fields, those are all on the land laboratory. And so I've tried to put in the picture where you can kind of see the lights from the football field and where the high school is. We're about a quarter-mile walk from there. And so this picture was taken last week. We've worked with an excavation company to get the pad ready and graded. And so we're primed and ready to move, and we are hoping to partner with you tonight. And I want to tell you why I believe in this project is good for our county to get involved in, and it's what I would call a triple threat. And that this is going to help us develop our workforce. It is going to have a positive net economic impact on our county. And then at the end of the day, it's going to be a community asset. And so I think that this project is a win for our county. And I'll try to make the case for that briefly. One of which we do serve a lot of individuals. So there's 466 students that are using our space now, and we're almost at capacity, and we need to be able to continue to meet their needs. We feel like this is going to build a pipeline that's going to keep individuals here. It's going to help keep youth here, equip them with skills that they need, that they can learn today and apply today as well. And so it will address a number of critical skills that are needed for production agriculture, whether it be livestock related, veterinary care, equipment operation. Our new dual enrollment animal science class uses this space, and we foresee this enhancing what we're able to do to develop a pipeline of skilled workers. We also feel like this is going to be an economic impact for our county because we already have organizations that have reached out and said, hey, as soon as you have it up, we want to come. We want to go to Appomattox because of what you have. And we see this space will be a hub to facilitate livestock sales and livestock shows that are going to bring in large crowds of people that will want to spend the day in our community. We do feel like this is going to create market access for individuals, especially young people that are getting into the ag industry, to be able to market their projects that they're raising, help them to be successful there. We do feel like the programming that we'll be able to offer in conjunction with the Cooperative Extension Service and other organizations, we're going to increase producer revenue so that they will be able to keep those dollars local. And then at the end of the day, we feel like between Virginia FFA, Virginia 4-H, and other groups, this is going to be a destination place that's going to attract people to our community. And lastly, with that, this is going to be an asset that we feel our community will benefit for many, many years to come. And it is a multi-use space, is how it's planned to be, and it will attract students not just in the public schools. We hope that 4-H students as well, and many other individuals, as this space is designed to be used to teach people, and that's the goal. And so we feel like it will attract students from across the spectrum, whether it be adult learners or some of our youth. We do have a strong fundraising momentum, as I'll show you soon, and I'm hoping that we can keep that going. And we do feel like this project will be self-sustaining through rental income and events, as we've already had so many groups say, hey, we want to use it. We need a space like this. And so we feel like this meets a need in our community. We are 91% through our fundraising efforts for the initial shell of the building and the initial building. And so I want to show you a little bit about just behind the curtain, so to speak, with the numbers behind this project. Is we worked with several builders to kind of get a rough estimate of what's it going to cost. And so being with equipment, when you build a home, you have to put curtains in it. And so the building is just the initial phase, but we know it's going to take some equipment, and so to make this space 100% usable. And so it's a little over $1 million project, but we believe that we can get the building up for just over $800,000. And as soon as we hit that mark on our fundraising efforts, we plan to begin the construction process. With that, we have received a grant from the Virginia Tobacco Region Revitalization Commission. We've had numerous individuals pledge in-kind donations We have been saving, this has been a long-term vision from our alumni, and then we've almost, through private donors, almost $200,000 has been donated in really about 14 months. And so we've come a long way very quickly, and I think that speaks to the promise that this project has, and also the need, and I want to convey that tonight. And so why I am here tonight is to formally ask you for your financial support of this project. What we are asking is for a combination of whether it be in-kind or cash donation, cash contribution, I should say, from the county of $100,000. Knowing that would allow us to start construction essentially now. That would fully unlock our matching grant requirements that we have with the Tobacco Region Commission. And then secondarily, there is a grant through the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. We were asked to resubmit an application, and that is due in April. And so we would like to have the county resubmit that application on our behalf. I do have a few board members in the audience. If any of you all would like to add anything, this will be a good time to do so before we field any questions.
Good evening, Board. I'm Matt English. I serve on the Board of Directors for the FFA alumni. I wear a lot of hats over there. Graduate of that program quite many years ago. Sad to say, time flies. But anyway, I'm going to be real brief. I see y'all got a lot going on tonight. Basically, I want to talk about the economic impact of this and what this facility will do for the economy locally. I live in the Oakville, Piney Mountain District, and about once a month during the summertime, my neighbors have a horse show there. And every Saturday evening, that show usually ends around 6 or 7 o'clock. And on my commute through town, I look and I see all these trailers at the old plaza, the new plaza, all the places that sell diesel, all the fast food restaurants. I talk to a lot of people throughout the county in my travels. They stay at our local Airbnbs, our public and private campgrounds, and our hotels. So this is a win-win, not just for people in the livestock industry like myself that will use that facility for auctions and shows and events along with the kids that use it on a day-to-day basis, and they have state, local, and national competitions that be held there. So those people, they'll need somewhere to eat, shop, and stay, and they want to do it right here in Appomattox. Lastly, I would like to echo the room of a gentleman that spoke briefly here a little while ago, Mr. Bill Jameson. We had a fire at this facility at a barn about 5-6 years ago. I went out right after that fire with some equipment to clean up. A gentleman pulled up in a minivan. I said, "Who's this in a minivan?" And it was Bill Jameson. And he rolled the window down and he said, "Matt, come here." He said, "How bad is it?" And I said, "It's bad." He said, "Real bad?" I said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "Tell you what," he said, "you come over to my office. You got my phone number. You call me. We're going to make this right." And he did, Philip. The dad did. He's a good man. So he's always supported us. Thank you for that. Thank you for the time to speak tonight. And I know that every person in this county will support this, every taxpayer. They're not going to deny a child learning how to do something with their hands. So thank you.
So I'll field any questions from the board if there are any.
Any questions from the board?
All right, thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
I don't really have a question, but I would like to say that I graduated from high school in 1971, and I was an FFA alum. I know the good work and the good leadership skills and the good teaching the FFA can do. And I appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Simpson.
Ms. Adams, what would be the appropriate funding mechanism or transfer if we were to fund the $100,000? Would it make the most sense to go, if we were to fund it or request support from the EDA and make it a economic development function, or would it just be a general fund donation?
I think it would be appropriate for this board to financially support the project. I wouldn't do it through the EDA funds because they have limited funding mechanisms. And that would be a separate vote of their board, but I would encourage this board to make some consideration for financial support toward that. And if you'd like to know the source would be from our general fund. You would make a special appropriation.
Mr. Chairman.
Wait.
Reverend Jones? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't know which fiscal year we would need to apply this in, but I'll make the motion that we support the project, $100,000 at whatever time it's called.
I second that motion. All right, motion been made by Mr. Simpson to support the project with a donation of $100,000 from the general fund. Reverend Jones has seconded. Any discussion? All right, call for a vote. Mr. Simpson?
Aye.
Reverend Jones? Aye. Mr. Wiskill?
Aye.
Mr. Hips?
Aye.
I vote aye also. So I feel that we're an agricultural county, we need to support it. You want? All righty, next up, Mr. Bruce Jones, Senior Extension Agent, has requested to appear before the board to provide an update on the Virginia Cooperative Extension Office.
Good evening, Board, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you this evening. I wanted to just give you a brief update on some activities we've got coming in the near future, and also like to thank you for your support of the building at the FFA Alumni Farm. And it's kind of very timely. One of our big activities that's coming up is the Central Virginia Livestock Show. That historically is held the first weekend in May at the Lynchburg Livestock Market. And with this new facility, we can move that event to that location, which that'll even bring more people, into the Appomattox community. And the numbers on that upcoming show, we have 33 youth from Appomattox representing 4-H as well as FFA that will be participating. And we have 51 total animals that those youth from this county will be showing. So very, very happy to see those numbers. And if you want to compare it to the size of the show, we have about 119 total animals that will be exhibited across all the counties. And those counties are Bedford, Amherst, Campbell, and Appomattox. So I look forward to seeing that opportunity grow as we move forward. I also wanted to mention that I was lucky to be able to organize and have the Central Virginia Cattle Conference to be held here in Appomattox. That is going to be held on May 1st. That's a Friday. It's going to be held over on Patterson School Road on the farm of Jim Johnson. And we've got some cutting-edge topics to talk about. Really, we're out on the outer fringe of some of the stuff that's coming. We utilize EPD information, or expected progeny difference information, for bull selection. We're seeing that come about now for selection of the females. And we're actually going to have some female animals that have been blood tested, and we'll actually have that information available and have some of those animals on site where farmers can go out and actually visually see animals and then be able to see what their numbers look like on paper. And that's kind of something we've not had before. And also there's a new technology coming with virtual livestock fencing, kind of like what we see with pets in yards with the halo type collars. They're actually collars for cattle. And that's being implemented more so out in the Midwest region. But we want to have that to be a focus point of this meeting. We are getting questions at the local level because people are reading about it, seeing it on Facebook and so forth. So look forward to sharing some of that information with attendees. And lastly, a little update on our 4-H program. We're very blessed to have a young lady that we hired last year. And she has been doing really, really good. And I will schedule to bring her here so you can see her, Alex Goldman. And just a little update, we had over 300 youth participating in our county public speaking contests. So very, very proud of that number. We had 87 participants in this 4-H Science Fair contest. And last year, we had 84 summer campers at Holiday Lake from the county. And we had 37 youth go to the Central District 4-H competition where they do science fair as well as public speaking. And the in-school program is done really good. We had embryology at the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade level where the kids were actually able to see chicks hatch from eggs that were incubated in the library. So very fortunate for that. And she's also working with electromagnets and electricity to help bring some of that information to the youth. And just a little update on the budget that I submitted. And I know that I was probably a unique county budget request this year because my number went down compared to previous years, and that was primarily due to the repositioning of the 4-H agent position and a new individual starting in that facet. I'd like to finish by thanking you for the support that you give our extension office and look forward to serving the citizens of the county. Thank you again. Be willing to handle any questions if you have any.
Mr. Wesco?
I just want to thank you for all the hard work you do. I know from time to time I get in touch with you, and you always respond, and you always handle the situation, and I know how hard you work, and we thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Jones, I just recently read an article about using those collars on cattle in Montana. It's quite interesting.
Yes, it is.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up is public hearing, amendment to County Code, Chapter 15.2-6C, EMS Rescue Division. A duly advertised public hearing has been scheduled for the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors to receive comments and consideration on a proposed amendment to the Appomattox County Code, Chapter 15.2-6, parentheses C, EMS/rescue divisions established, definitions, specifically adding hospital to home LLC as a medical transport service provider officially recognized as a private commercial or not-for-profit entity that is authorized to provide EMS services within Appomattox County and charge a fee for the service they provide to patients in Appomattox County. No one has signed up to speak at this public hearing. Is there any change to that? All right. Having no one to speak, consider adoption of the ordinance to amend the county code and adoption of the resolution authorizing Hospital to Home LLC to operate in the county.
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Wilskill.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Wilskill's made the motion to adopt a change to the county code, adding Hospital to Home LLC. Is there a second? Mr. Hips has seconded. Discussion?
Ms. Adams? It is the advice of staff to adopt. Is there any sort of recommendation?
Yes, it is. Basically, that's a formality when you apply for a state license, and we have to amend the code to include them as providing services to Appomattox County.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All right, Mr. Simpson.
Aye.
Reverend Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Hips. Aye. Mr. Wilskill.
Aye.
I vote aye also. All right, next up is resolution opposing a proposed Valley Link transmission project in Appomattox County. At the March 16th, 2026 meeting, the board directed staff to prepare a resolution opposing the proposed Valley Link transmission project in Appomattox County. Attached is the prepared resolution for ratification. We need to ratify it because we did not have it in our hands when we adopted the resolution at the March meeting. Mr. Hips has moved to adopt the resolution as submitted in the packet. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Simpson is second. Discussion? Mr. Wolfskill? Mr. Hips? Mr. Simpson?
Aye.
Reverend Jones? I vote aye also, so a resolution opposing the Avalanche Transmission Project has been adopted. Next up is item 8A, resolution to ratify the countywide ban on all open air and outdoor fires. This was initiated over the weekend because of the drought area and other counties around us issuing a ban. It says, whereas Appomattox County is currently experiencing severe drought conditions, extremely low humidity, and high wind events, creating an elevated risk of wildfires with little or no forecasted rainfall, and whereas the prolonged lack of precipitation has resulted in environmental conditions that pose a significant threat to life, health, safety, and property of the citizens of Appomattox County, and whereas Appomattox County Board Chair, in consultation with the Public Safety Director, County Administrator, Virginia Department of Forestry, and the Fire Chiefs of Pamplin and Appomattox, has determined that the immediate action is necessary to prevent uncontrolled fires and protect the public. And whereas pursuant to the determination, a countywide ban on all open air and outdoor burning was declared and took effect on Friday, April 17, 2026 at 7:49 p.m. and shall remain in effect until such time as Appomattox County Board of Supervisors formally rescind the ban after determining that adequate precipitation has occurred to sufficiently reduce the fire danger. And whereas, for purposes of this resolution, open burning shall include, but not be limited to, the burning of trash, debris, leaves, brush, campfires, bonfires, and use of fireworks. And whereas this ban shall not apply to cooking fires contained within gas or charcoal grills, prescribed burns that have been approved by the Virginia Department of Forestry, or fire-related training exercises authorized and supervised by a recognized fire department. Now therefore be it resolved that the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors hereby ratifies the Director of Emergency Services declaration of a local emergency and implementation of a countywide burn ban in response to severe drought conditions issued in accordance with 15.1-10 of the Appomattox County Code, and be it further resolved that this resolution take effect immediately and should remain in full force and effect until rescinded by further action of the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
Move that we adopt.
Mr. Simpson has moved to adopt. Is there a second? Mr. Wolfskill has seconded. Discussion? All right, Mr. Simpson.
Aye.
Reverend Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Hips. Mr. Wolfskill. I vote aye also. Burn ban resolution has been adopted. All right, next up, Appomattox County 911 Center logo. Attached for the board's consideration and approval is the Appomattox County Emergency Communications logo with a 911 dispatcher, which a 911 dispatcher created as part of the One Commonwealth logo project. The logo project brings together the logos of primary and secondary PSAPAs across the Commonwealth to reflect unity, professionalism, and shared mission. Mr. John Vanoy is prepared to address questions. Mr. Vanoy.
Y'all have any questions? I brought Evie Davis up here. She's the designer of the logo. I don't have a copy of it. There's a copy of it in the notes, but here's a picture of the logo. She designed that. We were approached by the state APCO commission, our community, because they made a statewide map of all the logos for the state, and we didn't have one. So we wanted one to be added to that instead of the Appomattox County seal. So I put it out there for the dispatchers to propose a seal, and Evie's the one that was selected out of all the dispatchers that voted. So I wanted to bring her up here to recognize that as well if y'all adopt it.
Nice looking logo.
Oh, you do have it, okay. I was like, all right.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Reverend Jones has moved to approve. Is there a second? Mr. Wolfskill seconded. Discussion? Mr. Simpson.
Aye.
Reverend Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Hips. Mr. Wolfskill. I vote aye also. Logo is county approved.
Thank you. Now she's got to get back to work.
And thank you for that good work. All right, next up, street acceptance, Wood Chase subdivision. The last remaining portion of Somerset Drive and Wood Chase subdivision located just west of town of Appomattox off Pumping Station Road is ready to be accepted into the state secondary road system. The first section of Somerset Drive and all of Arbor Court were accepted into the system in April of 2025. The remaining portion of Somerset Drive is 0.14 mile in length. Wood Chase is a 22-lot subdivision created in 2008. There are currently 14 dwellings located in this subdivision. Mr. Johnny Rourke is prepared to address any question. The board is to consider adopting the attached resolution requesting VDOT add the 0.14 mile portion of Somerset Drive to the secondary road system as presented. Does anyone have any questions of Mr. O'Rourke? If not, the board chair will take a motion to adopt the resolution requesting that Somerset be added to the VDOT road system. Mr. Hips has moved that the 0.14 mile portion of Somerset Drive be added to the secondary road system as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Simpson has seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Wolfskill. Mr. Hips. Reverend Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Simpson.
Aye.
I vote aye also. Resolution to add Somerset Drive to the secondary road system as presented is passed. All right, next up, schedule a public hearing on the FY 2027 budget. A public hearing is needed to receive comments on a proposed FY 2027 consolidated county/school/DSS budget. Please authorize the staff to schedule and advertise a public hearing on Monday, May 11th at 6 p.m. to receive comments on the FY 2027 proposed consolidated county school DSS budget. Is there a motion to schedule the public hearing? So moved. Reverend Jones has moved to schedule a public hearing on May 11th. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Simpson has seconded. Discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we will have a public hearing on Monday, May 11th at 6 p.m. to receive comments on the FY 2027 proposed consolidated county school DSS budget. Next up, school resource officer grant position. At a previous board meeting, Sheriff Richardson appeared before the board to discuss the SRO new position grant, and the board approved the sheriff to submit the grant to the DCJS. The grant was awarded for a total of $83,855, which includes state funds of $60,193 and a local match of $22,662. Staff recommends transfer by consent from the general fund, $60,193 approved, and appropriate $23,662 local match to account 3102-1009 SRO new position grant. Is there a motion to transfer by consent? So moved. Reverend Jones has moved to transfer by consent. Is there a second? Mr. Wolfskill seconded. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Wolfskill. Aye. Mr. Hips. Aye. Mr. Simpson.
Aye.
Reverend Jones.
Aye.
I vote aye also. The transfer is approved as recommended. Next up, committee appointments. Economic Development Authority appointment. As of March 16, 2026 meeting, the board was advised that an appointment would be required to fill the unexpired term of Mr. Watkins Abbott on the Economic Development Authority, EDA. Mr. Abbott resigned effective December 31st, 2025 due to a health issue, and term expires December 31st, 2026. The EDA Authority voted unanimously to recommend Mr. Faber B. Jamerson Sr. to be appointed to the EDA Authority. Staff and board members also received an application from Mr. Winford D. Nash for consideration. Is there a motion to nominate either of these two gentlemen?
Mr. Chairman.
Reverend Jones.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Mr. Nash for that position.
Reverend Jones has nominated Mr. Nash to fill the unexpired term of Mr. Abbott. Is there a second?
And Mr. Chairman,
Reverend Jones?
no second is required when you're nominating a person for a committee.
Is that right, Mr. Attorney?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. Nominations can be just made by a single member. It's the actual vote to appoint that has to have a second.
It's always nice to learn something new.
And, Mr. Chairman, if I
Reverend
could
Jones.
just make a few comments before we vote. The anonymous decision on part of the EDA to appoint Mr. Jamerson, I think it's an excellent choice. I was contacted by several people, and I like to preface my comments by first saying that someone who has concerns about any board in the county should not be eliminated from the possibility of serving just because they have those concerns. One of the things that stood out with me with the Nash application, for 40 years, I've watched Mr. Nash and the impact that he's made in Appomattox County. Over my 40 years, I saw a pipeline that was created of young people from Appomattox who were able to get these high-paying jobs at the company Mr. Nash served as president. Mr. Nash has not been in the million-dollar C-suite, but he's been in the billion-dollar C-suite on the international level. He supervised over 4,000 employees. And I think that he deserves consideration for the position. And I had a conversation or communicated with Mr. Nash about some of his concerns about the EDA. And I left those communications feeling that a man of this caliber, being in the international C-suite, where I'm sure a lot of debate went on, that he could be objective, and he assured me that he could be as being part of the EDA. So that's why I'm making that recommendation.
All right, any further discussion? If not, I'll call the question for the nomination of Mr. Nash. Mr. Simpson?
No.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfskill? No. Mr. Hips?
Aye.
I vote aye also. So Mr. Nash is nominated to the EDA committee. Next up is consent agenda. The consent agenda includes approval of all bills, minutes, supplemental appropriations, line item transfer, and fund transfers. Any item of consent agenda shall be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any board member prior to the vote on the consent agenda. Items removed from the consent agenda shall be considered by the board individually in order which they were removed from the consent agenda immediately following the consideration of the consent agenda. If there's no changes or subtractions, addition to the consent agenda, accept a motion to approve as submitted.
So moved.
Reverend Jones has moved to accept the consent agenda as submitted. Is there a second? Mr. Wolfskill's made the second. All right. Mr. Simpson? How do you vote? Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Hips? Aye. Mr. Wolfskill? I vote aye also. The consent agenda is approved as submitted. Next up, attorney's report.
Mr. Chairman, I have nothing for open session, just the closed meeting discussion.
All righty. Administrator's report. Ms. Adams.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to say welcome back. You're less than 6 weeks of bypass surgery, and you're chairing the meeting. So also, Mr. Zabel had mentioned that he'd been by the county administrator's office, and unfortunately, I've not been able to meet with you, but if you'd like to speak with me at any time, I'll be happy to talk with you. So as we prepare for the FY27 budget, we've scheduled the public hearing for May the 11th, and the equalized budget that we will be presenting on May the 11th is in the amount of $59,832,533. Also, on April the 30th, we'll be holding the public hearing, and that will be looking at the equalized rate for the reassessment. So we'll be advertising that as well. Currently, we're on target with budget spending. We're at 74.57% of our spending for FY26. And after the receipt of the RFP and presentation by the insurance consultants, you staff is grateful for your decision to fully fund employee insurance at no cost to staff, so we appreciate that again this year. And after the FY25 audit presentation last month, I was asked to provide clarification on the audit report findings for certain matters that were documented and opportunities for strengthening internal controls. As a result of that, the first was bank reconciliations not being completed until October, and that they were supposed to be completed by June of last year. The bank reconciliations are performed by the County Treasurer's Department, who respectfully submitted a formal response to the auditors, and so I have that documented response if you would like a copy of it. And she's putting in separate controls to make sure that that doesn't occur in the near future. And the Department of Social Services disbursement testing, there were 3 out of 25 random disbursements not having approval. And I met with the director, and she set up policies and internal controls to make sure that that doesn't happen again in the next budget year. Also, there were some expenditures that were not reported in the laser system, and so we've made corrections to that to help staff to be able to make sure that all of that information is entered. There is a note. I know several of you have asked me questions. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be at the March meeting because of health reasons outside of my control. But keep in mind that was the FY25 audit, and the period of the FY25 audit was July 1, 2024 through June 30 of 2025, which is prior to the hire of the new director at DSS and within the time frame of the agency board's transition and department of previous director in November 25. So I wanted to provide clarification, and in June of this year, our FY26 pre-audit will be taking place, and we'll be doing this all over again in December. The reassessment, we've had a lot of discussion about that, and I've given you a number of the appraisal companies, the meetings that they had, and they had reduced the assessment numbers by $17 million. And since the Board of Equalization has met, they've approved $4.9 million of additional property reductions. And they've also scheduled additional dates that they will be meeting. So if any citizens felt like that they did not have an opportunity to present to the Board of Equalizations, they're allowing additional opportunities to do so. Also, due to the land values, I think you had that discussion tonight with the Commissioner of Revenue, and you have increased some of the value numbers because there were a few applicants that were not eligible under the old process. So the new real estate reassessment numbers, we've had an increase in values, as most of you know, and it has been determined to advertise a rate of 45 cents per hundred. And the equalized rate is 0.417 per 100, so we are advertising that as an increase in the real estate rate. But keep in mind, our current real estate rate is at 63 cents per hundred. And as far as the school budget, we are currently, our proposal includes the governor's recommendation. As most of you know, the General Assembly has not reconvened to approve the budget, so there are 3 versions of a school budget, which is the Senate version, the House version, and the governor's proposal, which Dr. Tibbs is here, so he probably can attest to the blind numbers that we're currently working under, and we hope that somewhere in between there will be a hybrid scenario, which may require some additional local funds to match whichever budget that they adopt. The Facilities Committee met. I have some info on some of the projects that they're working on. We've had IT meetings, animal control shelter. There is one thing I'd like to bring out, that I've been meeting with the animal shelter supervisor. We're planning a free summer event at the shelter again this year. And that's scheduled for June the 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it will be an effort to generate exposure at the shelter and offer games for children and provide a fun time with the animals. So I volunteered all of us, myself and board members, to cook hot dogs at that event and to serve the public. So any of you that can attend will be appreciated. I know we had a similar event several years ago, and I think, Mr. Hinkle, you may have participated in that and cooked and served hot dogs. So I'm looking forward to having all of you, if available, to come and help us out. And I've got the other department, community development, community engagement. There are some dates that Ms. Davis would like for you to look at that will be upcoming opportunities for citizens in the community. And public safety, I've got some data there for you to look at as well. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Adams? All right, then also attached is Sands Anderson Delinquent Tax Report for your review, the school financial report, Commonwealth Transportation Board report, and one of their hearings is coming up on May 26th. Brings us to supervisor concerns. Mr. Simpson, any supervisor concerns?
I'd just like to speak to the appointment of Mr. Nash to the EDA. I think that was a result of this board succumbing to just making a vote not out of what's best for economic development or the purpose of the Economic Development Authority, but just because we didn't want to look like we didn't have anybody who was opposed to something on the EDA. So Mr. Nash was on our EDA over a decade ago. He was on the same EDA that responded to a RFP request from what turned out to be Microsoft for the construction of a 100-megawatt data center. And for him, a decade later, after resigning because whatever reason didn't go his way, the county didn't fund an economic development director, you have someone that left and now wants to essentially be Monday morning quarterback about a deal that he thinks wasn't done to the standard that it should have been done to. And I think that's all good and well. You can have those opinions, but for a board to appoint somebody who's had that kind of pattern of behavior is irrational and entirely in the response of just, I guess, blatant outcry. We didn't want to appoint someone who would actually, benefit the position. Winfred Nash is experienced at what he does. He had his opportunity to be on our EDA. He served on our EDA. And I don't think that he's the best fit to serve the future of Appomattox County.
Well, Mr. Simpson, I'm going to say that you're doing exactly what you just accused Mr. Nash of. You're Saturday morning quarterbacking our decision, and you should have made those objections when the nomination was made, not wait till supervisors' concerns to voice, so that we could have taken that into consideration instead of...
We voted on it.
Yes, but you had an opportunity at that time to say, hey,
Sure. It's supervisor comments. I can still voice my
Yes.
concerns, and I have concerns about him being on our EDA.
And I'm saying your concern should have been voiced before the vote.
That's fine. Beyond that, we've got a lot of open stuff that I hope to see resolutions for. I mean, water, sewer, trash, these are big topics. It's going to take a lot of effort from everybody on the board and staff coming up, and it's all going to happen, I think, pretty quickly, figuring out decisions. So the community has a lot going on, a lot up in the air, and we got to keep going in the direction towards the future and not regressing. That's all that I have.
Reverend Jones, supervisor concerns.
No, I just have a comment. I'm glad we live in a democracy. I'm glad we can make decisions based on what we feel in our best judgment is the right thing to do. And again, I'm glad we're in America. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Jones. Mr. Wiltskill?
Mr. Chairman, after due consideration, I have serious concerns with opening and operating a landfill. And I did write, because I didn't want to forget anything. From the survey I sent out to my constituents, 99% are opposed to the county having a landfill, which is a strong response. My due diligence in investigating this and speaking with others who have had experience with landfills tell me that the costs and long-term liability issues make this option unattainable and reckless. The cost for the study we approved last week will almost certainly be in the hundreds and thousands of dollars before it is complete. I hereby rescind my vote, don't know if I can, to support that study. I vote no. Our county has much better use for taxpayers' hard-earned money than to fund a study of this nature. Opening a landfill will cost at least $30 million. Add to that peripheral spending required in heavy equipment, scale and scale house and management employees needed to run it, get added to that $30 million. And the cost and the post-closure maintenance of a landfill goes on for decades. We are still paying huge sums each year in post-closure maintenance and repair and monitoring for the cells we've already closed. And the liability from the state and federal governments, ever-changing laws go on forever. And that should scare us. In today's environment, it is wholly folly to consider opening and managing and in the future closing our own landfill. Our taxpayers simply cannot afford the dollars this would require or the risk. Some of the reasons given to explore opening our own cell were in control of our own destiny. That will, in reality, never happen. At any time, Richmond or Washington can come out with new requirements for landfill management that cost the county taxpayers millions again. Remember, we currently have a $14 million school construction loan to pay off, and those payments will next year increase by over $1 million. And we have the very real need to remedy the middle school complex, possibly another $20 million in taxpayer debt. So let's quickly add a few things up. $14 million in the current debt, another $20 million in middle school remedy, and then another $30 million to open a landfill sale. That comes to about $54 million of county debt. At a bond of 4%, that would be $2,164,000 a year in just interest. Add to that the principal reduction of over 30 years at another $2 million a year, and we would have a grand total of almost $4,064,000 a year added to the county's annual budget. Our county cannot and should not put that burden on the taxpayer. We have other alternatives. The best is to continue as we are with a contract hauler, convenience centers as we currently have, which removes all the liability. The liability is on the hauler, not on our county taxpayers. I just wanted to share that concern.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hips? I don't have a concern, but I would like to thank the board for their card, get well card for my surgery, and also Ms. Adams, if you convey to the county employees my thanks for the get well basket and the tomato plant, which already has tomatoes on it. So that's terrific. All right, next up, I move that the board enter in a closed session for the limited purpose of consultation with legal counsel regarding actual litigations where such litigations is open meeting would adversely affect the county's negotiating and litigating posture related to Region 2000 and an FOIA complaint, respectively, pursuant to Section 2.2-3711, parentheses A, parentheses 7. Is there a second to that motion?
So moved.
Reverend Jones has seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All righty, let's move into closed session, gentlemen. You can stay seated.
I figured out who you were when you were doing that. Now you gotta come back next month, or not. He didn't come tonight, so we won't have the opportunity to put it on for next month, to move it up the ladder, you know. You can drive over and see him again. The VDOT guy. Yep. Yeah, well, not now. We can't tell who's here.